Today, the topic of Road to 50 Million is love and love and love. And I picked this beautiful beach background because it's so inviting. I know, I'm sure that you've been in a place like this, maybe on a beach, maybe in a mountain meadow, but a place where the sun it looks to me like going down. And there's the fading light of day. It could be sunrise, where the beginning of the day is there. But either way, at that time of day, beginning or end, there's a soft light, golden, beautiful light that makes everything feel a certain way. And standing on a beach like this in the fading light of day is energizing. There's a peace about it, and there's calm. And there's no question that these days, there's all kinds of stuff going on. I notice it in myself. I notice it in clients who are working hard and sometimes struggling, sometimes feeling confused about why things are happening around them the way that they are. And I have a soccer shirt on because of the World Cup, although this isn't a country team. It's the shirt of I think one of the League of Champions teams. I'm not a big raving football fan, although my wife is, and the World Cup, meaning football, soccer, and she loves it, and we are raging aficionados, meaning it's on all the time, every day, all day, when it's going. And it's funny because in 2018, the last time when it was in St. Petersburg, in Russia, we were there just before that. We were there in the summertime, just before the World Cup, and in St. Petersburg, they were doing all kinds of preparation, repairing things and cleaning parks, and they were putting flowers everywhere, and even the subway was getting a beautiful refresh, and it was just all kinds of stuff going on, and it was clear they were doing a lot of preparation, and obviously there was some bit of feeling that it was propaganda to show off the best face, but any country would prepare the city well to receive the world. And, whether or not it's propaganda or not is a different issue. Of course, there are all kinds of issues now. Here we are 4 years later, and it's in Qatar, and there are allegations of, human rights mistreatment, and even the head of the FIFA said, it was a mistake to put it there. And okay, and now 4 years later, we have this war going on in Russia, and it's funny because funny is the wrong word, sad, poignant, I guess, because in 2018, when we were in St. Petersburg, that was literally 4 days, maybe five, before I went to the hospital and died, had the near-death experience. So my experience in St. Petersburg, when we went to the beautiful places in the palace and all the stuff that's there, was interesting. And at the end of it, we had a cruise on the Baltic Sea there and visited a lot of cities. And then I came home and got sick and had a terrifying illness, and I died. My heart stopped, and I had a whole near-death experience in the intensive care unit of the University of Alberta Hospital. So that was 4 years ago, right at the time of the World Cup. And while after I didn't die, I died, and then they were able to restart my heart. I spent 17 days in a coma, and after I came out of the coma, a lot of the things that Joy, my wife, wanted to watch during that time, of course, when she was in my room, which was a heroic amount, was World Cup games. And of course, I don't remember very many of them because I don't remember anything for that month except the visits I had with God when I was dead. Anyway, the reason I wanted to talk about love today is because there's so much turmoil. We've had almost 3 years now of pandemic-related upheaval, and there's a huge amount of upheaval still going on. Joy went to the store the other day, and we live in Canada, Edmonton, Alberta, and she noticed in a Walmart that there was huge sections of empty shelves that was completely unfamiliar. And we spent 8 years in Phoenix, from 2008 to 16. And 2008 is right when that gigantic recession happened, and it affected several years. And I remember that because at church, we would go to church every week, and the main topic everybody was talking about was employment, where to find jobs, what to do, and all of the things that were associated with that economic upheaval. And the house that we ended up buying was half the price that it had been a year before. Unfortunately, it didn't appreciate much. So when we sold it 8 years later, we got about the same price. But it was interesting, and we were able to get it for a nice price at the time. But anyway, that was upheaval and turmoil, and here we are now, 13, nearly 14 years later, 15 years later, 14 years later, and there's another pile of upheaval and turmoil. We've got a war going on in Europe that is killing tens of thousands, maybe over 100,000 people now. Millions. I saw a report the other day that said 15 million people have left Ukraine, and I know some have come back, a million or two, but still 13, 14, 15 million. I mean, the population's only 45. So you figure a third of the people have left. And then we had this 2 year, almost 3 year now, I guess, in March, pandemic situation, and we're out of it, quote, but I just went and I didn't get a pandemic shot. I'm going to get my 5th shot here in a couple weeks. There's a bivalent booster, and I guess that's going to be a permanent thing. What I got yesterday was a flu shot, a high-powered, high-dose flu shot because I'm over 65, and, shots don't affect me. But last night, I went to bed early because about 9 o'clock, I just felt kind of puny. I'm great this morning, and everything's fine. But anyway, those are tiny things. Bigger things, people are hungry. Bigger things, people are afraid. Bigger things, people are dying. Bigger things, there is enormous uncertainty. At the same time, there is enormous opportunity. There is enormous possibility. We have technology now to reach every corner of the world, and that's being used for good and for bad. I had a chance on Lunch Club the other day to meet a fellow who's starting a business, who's already started a business. And he called me from Ghana. He lives in Albuquerque. I think I mentioned this on one of the other episodes a day or two ago, but I was just really impressed because his life mission now, right now, is to do this service in Africa. And he's taking women who have been enslaved in the sex trade for who knows how long and turning them into virtual assistants, and successfully. And I looked at his website, and we use a lot of that. So I talked to Joy, and we might be able to use some. I don't know, but I loved what he was doing. So in the world where there's all this stuff going on, that's personal struggle and difficulty and polarization and politics and name calling and wars and people killing other people. And I saw the other day there have been 600 shootings in the United States. I'm in Canada, but I'm U.S. also, born in San Francisco, and the homeless problem that's unthinkable. The new mayor of Los Angeles the other day said that her top priority completely was to fix this homeless problem because her thought was that it has reached epidemic proportions. She used one of those big words, catastrophe or something. But anyway, more. Here's what I want to talk about. Road to 50 million. This is about one thing and one thing only. This is about one person at a time. So you here now talking to me, listening. Are you thrilled with your life? The answer's simple, and you know right in your heart if the answer's yes or no. If you start to say, well, it's mostly okay, you've already said enough. Are you thrilled with your life? Yes or no? If you're not, why not? What is it that is the difference between the life that you have and being thrilled with your life? I don't know. But if you stop and write down on a piece of paper things, most folks, when I ask that, and I ask that a lot, the reason I ask it a lot is because I'm a coach. And in the coaching world, I work helping people get what they want. Just like a coach in an athletic world helps the athlete get to the podium, get what they want. Well, I help you get what you want. Interestingly enough, it all starts with who we're choosing to be, how we choose to think, the language we use, and how we choose to show up in the world. So pulling all this back to love, my commitment in this road to 50 million, if you don't already know, is I've committed to help you, 50 million of you, to discover your own gifts and to use them in the service of those around you. Now, you may or may not choose to use it as a business to serve, but the intentional, focused use of your gift. I don't mean occasionally doing a thing. I'm talking about making a declaration and a purposeful choice to discover, to develop, and to serve with your divine gifts. That's the only way we're going to get through and out of this situation of polarization, negativity, sadness, fear, and everything else. I can't fix anybody, but I can offer help to everybody, and so I'm offering to you. Today, I wanted to talk about three kinds of love. Love first is love to yourself. If you don't love yourself, that is one of the main reasons you're not living that life of purpose, prosperity, and joy. It's one of the reasons if I said, are you perfectly happy and thrilled with your life? And you go, reason number one, you're not loving yourself. Even with your flaws and your mistakes and stuff, loving yourself. I think that's, someone said the other day in a comment on Facebook, it's the ultimate spirituality. Let's explore that for a minute, because if you're a creation of God or the divine or the universe, and you're an intentional, careful, purposeful, loving creation, then the greatest thing we can do is to love that creation, take care of it, and so forth. And that not only means our bodies, but our language, our minds, our spirits, what we say to ourselves, how we treat ourselves, and all the rest. So loving yourself is first, and it is a spiritual act. It is a spiritual choice to honor the being that you are. The second piece of love is loving others. So what does that mean? Well, love is defined a lot of ways, partnerships, companionships. I'm married. I love my wife. I love my kids desperately, deeply, furiously, and I would do whatever I can for them to help them have a purposeful, prosperous life. So there's that kind of love, spousal love, romantic love, familial love. I'm talking about a different grade of love, which is even higher, and that is love of each other. And what do I mean by that? Does that mean just sitting around, ooh, I love you, beep? No. To love someone is to make a choice to use your resources. I think of them as you have spiritual resources, physical resources, which includes money and stuff, emotional resources, and mental resources. I use the acronym SPEM. It's kind of like STEM, only it's not. SPEM, spiritual, physical, emotional, mental. If you choose to use those resources to serve someone, to bless them in their best interest, then you're loving them. How much you choose to serve them, that's how much you love them. And we can't do everything for everybody, and doing things for people may not even be a good idea. Teaching, loving, supporting, helping, encouraging, that may be the very best thing we can do for folks. And that's what I love about coaching. So the second thing is loving people around us by how we talk to them, how we act, how we think of them. Both of those kinds of love involve taking away judgment. We judge ourselves terribly. We judge others terribly. From simple things like someone on the road or in traffic to people who say this or that or who ignore us. Maybe they didn't see us, or they don't say something, or we didn't get a response, or whatever. And so we make up all these stories. The third and toughest kind of love is to love those that hate you, that hurt you, that are mad at you, that are trying to damage you. What does it mean to love them? Well, first of all, it means to just ignore the negative stuff. Now, I don't mean you have to stand there and be physically damaged. Of course, you get yourself to physical safety. And you also get yourself to emotional and mental safety. But to love means to not carry grudges, bitterness, anger. Because, if you've gotten yourself to physical or emotional safety, then you're removed from the situation. If I continue to carry bitterness, anger, grudge, then all it does is hurt me. It certainly doesn't do anything to the person or people who were angry or hurting me. In some cases, there need to be, intervention with laws and things. And of course, that needs to happen. I'm talking about the internal leftovers of bitterness, anger, hurt, fear, revenge, lack of self-worth, hating yourself. For me, this was the hardest. Not because I couldn't forgive others. I don't hold any anger, bitterness, or judgment toward anyone for anything, including myself. But that was a hard place for me to get to. But here's what I know. Having done the work to get there, I am now liberated and free to love freely and to serve as much as I can. I used to be terrified that someone would find out whatever it was that had been in my past, and therefore something. I no longer carrying that fear is completely liberating. No longer carrying any negative baggage or frustration or hurt or wishing ill of someone or anything puts me in a place of peace, like this beach. And living in a place of peace means that I'm fully available every day, every minute to love you. So my road to 50 million is a commitment to help 50 million people, starting with you, to discover your gifts, to develop them, and to serve with them. That might include making a business, making a product, becoming an author or a teacher or a marketer or something. It might include all that, but it doesn't start there. I have so many people that come as a coach and first thing they want is help me make money. I need to make money. And they don't realize they're doing it the hardest way possible. They're looking for a check sheet that says, do this, write this, print this, do this, and then cash flows. That's the hardest possible way to make money. That's not the easy way. The easy way is, well, it's not easy. The simple way is to fix your heart. Because when your heart is clear and your intention is pure, then your ideas flow, your courage is way up, and your ability to do stuff is off the charts. So I invite you with all my heart to join me on my commitment to help 50 million people, starting with you. So 3 invitations. If you're already living your ultimate life and you already enjoy all the purpose, prosperity, and joy you want, I'd love to talk to you because I want to put you on my podcast. I want to get to know you. I want to understand your journey, and I want to honor you for the work you've done. The second thing is maybe I can help you. I don't know, but I'd love to talk to you and find out if there's something I can do to serve you along that road. And number 3, the third thing is maybe you want to help me reach my 50 million, and I'd welcome that collaboration and help. So in any of those capacities, I'd love to talk to you because I love you already, because I can. And love is the foundation, it is the engine, and it is the power of all creation. And until we realize that, we're going to stumble and struggle. And as soon as we realize that, things get calm, things get clear, and life becomes simple, including the piece about making money and having the things you need. We start with having, and that's so backwards. And I am so guilty of that so many times in my life and stumbled around like I'm talking about for so long. And now that I don't live there, life is so simple and so much fun every day. Like, there are no bad days. There are only beautiful, fabulous, wonderful days. Chris Doris, a friend of mine, has a saying, best damn day of my life. I agree with you. Every day is. Why? Because, well, first of all, it's the only day I've got. It's this one right here. And it is the best day. Because if I believe some other day in the past was the best, or some day that's not here yet is going to be the best, well, I'm never going to have that one again, and the one in the future is never coming. It's only here right now. So I'd love to help. If I can do anything for you, if I can honor you, if I can serve you, if you want to be a guest on my podcast, I have a television program I'm creating too. If you want to be a guest on my TV program, I'd like to talk to you too. The series I'm just finishing is a 10-episode series called Creatives Save the World. And that one's just about shot, but I'm starting on season 2, and I want to talk to you. If you have a mission, if you are on a purpose, on a mission to serve and to love yourself, others, and even your enemies, I want to talk. We'll see you tomorrow.